What's going on, everybody? It's the Hook Cam back again with another film breakdown. Today we're going to be taking a look at Chandler Jones, defensive end, edge defender, I don't care what you want to call it. Absolute freak of nature for the Arizona Cardinals. This dude, drafted by New England, shipped off to Arizona, and he has just flourished ever since he's gotten to Arizona. He's amassed, since 2016, an 11-sack season, 17-sack season, a 13-sack season, and then last season a 19-sack season. So I remember when he got drafted to New England, and I was just fired up because this dude was a bolt of lightning on the edge of a defense. He does a great job getting to the to the passer. Phenomenal job with his hands, phenomenal job with his speed. All around, I really think that he's just a supreme athlete. So I really wanted to do a breakdown on him. I kind of feel like he gets lost in the shuffle. Not a ton of publicity down there in Arizona, but this dude is as elite as they come, in my opinion, as an edge defender and as a pass rusher in this defense. So, with all that being said, let's dive on in. But before we do, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my channel. I have just been swamped, and I mean swamped in work, law school, starting back up for me. But you know what, man? I love it. I love to be busy. I hate not having anything to do. So it's forcing me to be more organized. It's forcing me to have a schedule, and I'm looking forward to everything coming down the pipe for me. But with all that being said, guys, if you could show me some support, I would appreciate the hell out of that, as well as the Jackson Kruger Sports. I'm sure this will end up on his channel as well. So let's dive on into a little Chandler Jones film breakdown. One thing that really sticks out about him to me is his change of direction within that first 3 yards is insane, right? And we see a lot of great edge defenders these days, you know, the Von Millers and Khalil Macks, and they have that speed, and that's what really defines them as a pass rusher. Now, of course, those guys are obviously powerful, and they can work through you with a pass rush. But with Chandler Jones, especially with this snap right here, we're going to see him work upfield, and it's going to widen this gap right here. And as he works upfield, like I said, it's going to widen that gap, but it also puts this tackle at a disadvantage, right? Because now we have this big lane right here. Now, it doesn't look entirely huge, but it's just enough for Chandler Jones to get through. As he works upfield, he's going to do a great job with that inside arm, slapping that hand away from the tackle, and then it's just an absolute foot race to the quarterback, which he's going to win. Just dominant on the edges of a defense. Absolutely dominant. It's stuff that you love to see. It's stuff that defensive coordinators obviously love to have. Offensively, you have to plan around that, right? And we're going to watch a clip later where Evan Ingram is going to be blocking Chandler Jones, and it's just a pitiful experience, and it's tough for him because the tight end's not supposed to block a guy like this, right? And we're going to see this snap right here from the Carolina Panthers once again. The handwork from Chandler Jones from 55 for the Cardinals is just next level in my opinion. A lot of times tackles are taught to hit outside, inside, right, 1-2. It's not at the same time, a little bit different than like I was coached in high school and in college, right? It's not at the same time. And you can see here, a lot of times when they do it 1-2, it's so that if they do punch, you kind of have that other hand as a backup, as far as I know. But we're going to see Chandler Jones work, once again, that outside arm, slap those hands away, right? Now we have this tackle leaning. He can't get his hands back up. We're too close. And then we rip right around this edge. And again, we bend the hoop, right? We run the hoop. We bend this thing so that we're not running past the quarterback, but we bend this so we're right on a line with him. Does a great job looking for that football too, man. This dude has a ton of forced fumbles. He's just an absolute force on the edge of a defense. And he has these games where he'll pop off for 3-4 sacks. And it's kind of crazy how he gets that momentum and he gets rolling, and once he gets rolling, now we're in some trouble because 55 is feeling it. We'll see again on this snap right here. Chandler Jones, just the speed off the snap is next level. And you look at really that whole Jones family. You have John Jones, who I've been getting a little bit more into UFC, is just an absolute specimen in the UFC. You have Arthur Jones, who's another one of his brothers who played a couple of seasons for the Indianapolis Colts. And then you have Chandler Jones, who's arguably the best pass rusher in the NFL. Right, and we look at this right here, and he mixes up his moves as well. Sometimes he's trying to make contact. Sometimes he's trying to push hands away before you even get your hands on. Right here, okay, I'm going to let you make contact with me, but now I'm going to slap that arm down, and I'm going to bend the hoop right here, and I'm going to get in on a forced fumble once again on Kyle Allen for the Carolina Panthers. Long day for him in this game. But as we could see here, right, he has a plethora of moves. He's very fast. He's very athletic. Now, moving on to this game against the New York Giants, another one of the things that Chandler Jones has in his back pocket, and of course, all of these pass rushers do. I'm not trying to say that other guys don't. I'm just saying that I see it a lot out of 55, and he's really, really good, so I want to give him some credit. Okay, coming off the snap here, lined up outside of the tight end. Going to be a tough angle for this tackle to go to. Tackle, I don't think, takes the best set because he's turning his shoulders right away. I understand that it's a little bit of a play action here. I get that, trying to be a little bit more assertive. But as Chandler Jones works upfield, we're going to see he gives him a little hezzy, right? He gives him a little head fake. Now, what that does is it kind of puts our boy on skis here, right? And he crosses over his feet, which means that he doesn't have the power. Now, he gets that leg back, and we're trying to brace into the ground. But right when we get to this point right here, that body control that I talk about, right? Working upfield with this arm right here, and then we're going to turn this guy, right? We're not on a level playing field. Now we're going to turn this dude so he's off balance. We rip right around him. We give him that little push-pull, which is so tough to defend, especially when you're out on the edge right here. You got your body weight leaning on a guy like Chandler Jones, who's big and strong. He's going to take that momentum and work it against you, and then he's going to come upfield for a sack. He had 4 sacks in this game against the New York Giants. Just a phenomenal showing of athleticism from him and just pure dominance. And you talk about dominant pass rushers in the NFL today, they do stuff like this. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the Giants had the best offensive line in the NFL. No, I got ripped for that the other day in one of my videos. Why'd you put clips against the Giants? It's for the Dak video. I get it. But let's be honest here. These guys are in the NFL. They're in the NFL for a reason. Yeah, some teams aren't as good as others, but if you're dominating in the NFL, you're still dominating in the NFL. Best of the best when it comes to football. Now, a pet peeve of mine, and this is a little bit of a divergence from our regularly scheduled programming. I cannot stand when they put H's or tight ends out to block a pass rusher and edge defender. Absolutely can't stand it, right? Evan Ingram immediately drops that back foot, opens up that soft edge, right? Usually you're trying to keep your shoulders nice and square as you work back so you don't give him a soft edge to work through. Immediately opens those shoulders up. So now he's going to work right through that upfield shoulder. You've got absolutely no chance on that. Once again, with that push-pull, we got ourselves a forced fumble. I do not understand why NFL coaches do that, but I digress. Now, this play against the 49ers, really, really solid awareness out of Chandler Jones. And this is some stuff that if he doesn't have his head on right, he's probably chasing this thing down thinking it's wide zone, right? But he's not. He understands that, hey, the 49ers love their boot action, right? They love rolling Jimmy G out, which is exactly what happens here. As soon as we get that wide zone look, he starts gaining ground upfield this way, or losing ground, whichever way you want to look at it. But we get to a point where, once again, we're on a tight end, and he's going to work right through this tight end, right into 10's lap. That's a great job from Chandler Jones, man. The awareness to not get sucked down into that wide zone into a point where we're chasing. To work upfield and then work through a tight end to make a sack, just phenomenal stuff out of him. And we see this game in and game out from Chandler Jones. And really, I don't feel like dude had 19 sacks last year. I think that he was ended up being second or third in MVP voting for the defensive MVP voting. But I really think that this dude's an MVP candidate just waiting to pop off. Right, we have this rep right here against a true tackle. The hands, once again, I love the hands on Chandler Jones working to slap right through. He kind of fakes him out with this because he puts his hands up, right, making it look like, hey, you're gonna strike me, and I'm gonna slam down on your hands and then rip through. But he doesn't do that. He puts the hands up and then he works a bull rush right through this tackle, right? Eyes below his, great leverage. But the thing that I love about it is that he doesn't just stick in this, right? He doesn't kind of get lost and try and collapse the pocket. Now that we've got him on skis, now he throws that rip right underneath, boom, and we're going to get over the top. He tries to throw a rip and then ends up throwing a swim. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? He's always moving. He's always active, which is such a key element when you're trying to rush the passer. Kind of getting lost in that bull rush that you kind of see a lot of defensive tackles do, where you're just trying to collapse the pocket, which is their job. I understand that. That can lull guys to sleep, and next thing you know, you're not really being an effective pass rusher. Now, Chandler Jones had an outstanding game late in the season against the Seattle Seahawks. So we're going to see little clips of that right here. Once again, active once he makes contact. Love that out of him, right? We're going to have this tackle stick us right in the chest. We're trying to get a chip here. This is another thing that's special, right? We bring this back in right here. We're not bringing him in for anything else rather than chip and release, right? Force Chandler Jones to work inside, make it easy for your tackle, which is exactly what happens. We chip, Chandler Jones makes contact, and then once again, he works those arms right to the side as soon as contact's made, swims over the top, gets rid of him, and we're in for a sack on Russell Wilson, who's not an easy guy to get a hold of, as we all know. Now, there's a lot of other things that Chandler Jones does well, too. This was a game, I watched their game against the Baltimore Ravens, the Cardinals. Much closer game than I anticipated. It was week 2 of the season, so I kind of forgot about it. But this play right here from Chandler Jones is insane. Right? This is pretty crazy. So to understand this, we kind of have to understand what's going on offensively. Now, what's happening here is we're working basically inside zone here, working out here, working these two up to this. I believe we're pulling around for the mic, and we're working outside upfield for that safety, and Chandler Jones is really the read guy in this situation. Now, he chops his feet right here, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. Chop your feet and try to squeeze this gap. okay? But he's the read guy, so he's not going to get blocked. And really, ideally, what you're doing, and something that's really special about this play, is that a lot of times from an edge defender perspective, as you see this guy get wide, you have to get wide as well, right? But Chandler Jones trusts his athleticism. He knows, hey, if we pop this thing outside, I know I'm going to be able to get over the top, or I know I'm going to be able to force this thing to the sidelines, right? But still, we have a good 4 yards right here that we have to cover to tackle Mark Ingram, who had an outstanding season. We come down on this thing, make a tackle for a gain of 2. I just thought this was a really athletic play because there's so many things that he has to account for, Chandler Jones does, in order to make this play. We have to disregard the fact that we're getting pulled wide from this H-back or whatever you want to call it, H or F, right? We have to be able to chop our feet and collapse this gap at the same time. We're working here with 86, so he's not going to be a problem. But I just thought this was a really athletic play. The fact that he's able to really take away 2 options on this is something that not a lot of edge guys are going to be able to do, especially against Lamar Jackson. I wouldn't call this the wrong read either because there's really nothing that's telling Lamar, hey, pull it. There really isn't. The only thing maybe is the fact that Chandler Jones is pointing. His hips are pointing downhill right there, but when in doubt, these quarterbacks are always taught to give it. But anyway, just an athletic play from Chandler Jones that I thought I would share. Really, really phenomenal football player. Really enjoyed breaking this film down for you. Here's another one, too, for you. Chandler Jones just getting his hands up in passing lanes. Just an insane athlete, man. This kid's all over the field. Miss him on the New England Patriots. Really do. He was a ton of fun to watch, but obviously his career has been thriving ever since he's got to Arizona. He's getting paid. He's having a great NFL career, and I can't be happier for the guy. So anyway, with all that being said, guys, that's my breakdown of Chandler Jones. Expect some more coming out this week, trying to get a bunch of videos done on this beautiful Sunday we have here. So I hope everybody's staying safe out there, washing those hands, crossing your fingers, because hopefully we get some football back here pretty soon. That's all I got for you guys today. Stay safe out there. I'll be back soon with some more, and we'll see you next time.